Hello my peaches, what's up? I am Pratha and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to share with you a few perfumes that are summer appropriate and that are new in my collection. You will find everything from designers to affordables, like super affordable fragrances as well. So it's a mix of everything in here since I didn't have way too many to be segregating them in different videos. Also, before we dig in, I want to tell you that I have a list of 30 plus body mists for summer and my top 10 summer body mists for this season. So if you have still not checked it out, I would highly recommend that you look into them. And with that thought, we will get into this video and let's quickly roll the intro. Starting off with a perfume that I never brought back on the channel, and that is Zara Soleil Decade. And it was something like which was not impressing me enough, but now when I smell it, I just get this ambery and soapy kind of fragrance. Like it's a clean fragrance that has a warmth to it. Like this is the I think second fragrance that I have came across which has the combination of soapy notes along with amber, and I think I did not do a justice to explaining this fragrance before. So it's a very classy kind of a fragrance in here, and it's a very office appropriate fragrance in my opinion. It can definitely be a unisex fragrance for sure. So if you like unisex fragrances, I think you will really like this citrusy and soapy and warm take on a fragrance, and I'm really liking it these days. It's more like your classy fragrance without putting in too much effort and kind of smelling super professional. Great summer fragrance, which is like it has some mintiness to it as well. Now that I'm smelling it, it's like lemony, minty, soapy and warm from the amber. God, there is so much going on, and I am pretty sure when I look at the notes on this, they'll just turn out to be something else. I'm pretty sure about that. But what I'm smelling is what I'm telling you right here. It's really amazing, guys, if you can still find it, and if you're looking for a very office going kind of fragrance for these summers which smells effortlessly classy and professional, do look into this one. And this is one fragrance that you and your partner can definitely share, and you guys will not go wrong by doing so. So yeah, do look into Soleil Decade from Zara. I have very recently talked about this next fragrance, and that is Skin Nora Florin. This too is a citrusy, spicy, rosy kind of fragrance. I am really smelling that slight bit of rose in it. It's not like dominating or anything, but this is like a warm, spicy, but still kind of summer appropriate kind of fragrance for some reason. This is just another fragrance that kind of turns out to be like a very feminine fragrance, which is a little warm, just a little bit warm, not too much, but then is kind of, professional smelling. It's impressive. There were other in this line that I tried, the other one that I tried, but I did not include it in this video because I was not liking it that much. So for that reason, I did not include it. And I just feel that a generic fragrance in the price range of 3,000 rupees is absolutely a waste of money. For that reason, I have included Florin in here. And now that I'm smelling it again and again, along with those spicy notes in the opening, it's also kind of smelling a little rosy. I think that is what is bringing in that femininity to it, and it has a bit of vanilla in it and praline, which is kind of making it feminine. So it's a nice take on a floral and slightly sweet kind of a feminine fragrance, which is also a bit peppery and spicy and a little warm as well. So this again is a versatile kind of fragrance which can be your evening date or your office going kind of fragrance for sure. Now this next one literally put a hole in my pocket after buying it, and I am talking about Carolina Herrera's Good Girl No, sorry, very good girl. And I, instead of buying the original, I ended up buying this over here. But I have to say, because my son really, really likes this bottle, every time I pull it out of the drawers and cupboards, he never goes without spraying it. He never loses a chance of spraying this fragrance on himself. And I think it's about the stunning bottle that is in here. I have to say that I myself never sprayed on myself because I'm not a huge fan of this fragrance. This is a very, very green kind of rosy fragrance which is quite musky in the dry down, so it's majorly a fresh rosy fragrance which is sweet and musky. There is absolutely nothing groundbreaking about this fragrance, but for some reason I am mentioning this whole spraying routine with you because smelling this fragrance again and again is kind of making me feel that it's actually kind of growing on me and I have started liking it. I am still not loving it, but definitely liking it. So it's a nice, very, very feminine fragrance, which is very, very appropriate for these summer times. It has a lot of sweetness, lot of muskiness to it, along with a fresh rose and some green notes in the background that literally smells like fresh guavas to me in the opening, but that guava feel to it in the opening literally takes a back foot later on and it just smells like a musky, sweet, rosy fragrance. But you absolutely do not need to spend the money in this if you don't want to own the bottle. You can definitely get that kind of fragrance with Skin Titan Nude or also with Ajmal Nia. So similar kind of fragrance. I'm not saying that they are exact dupes, but they are the similar, they fall in the same category of fragrances, which is sweet, rosy, and musky. So do look into that. This next fragrance is new to my collection and I have never ever talked about this on my channel. I wanted to do a separate video on this, but then I did not find much about this to be talking about. So I am talking about Queen of Seduction from Antonio Banderas. I don't know if I am saying the name right. This is a celebrity fragrance which is very, very easily available in India, and also these small decants are very much available. I bought this particular one because one, the fragrances of this line are kind of dupes to high-end perfumes. Two, I bought this one because it was a summer perfume. I didn't have enough summer perfumes in my collection. I just wanted to try this. Also, because it was said to be a dupe for Acqua di Gioia. I'll put the bottle picture in some corner. So, this green colored Acqua di Gioia bottle from Armani, I think, if I'm not wrong, it's from Armani. Yeah, this is said to be a dupe for that. It's a very fresh, aquatic, citrusy kind of fragrance, which is literally mouth watering. Instead of that citrusy juiciness, it has this, either orange peel or bergamot peel kind of this greenness added to it, like a bergamot peel greenness in it. And then it is aquatic, really nice, guys. The more I'm sniffing on it, the more I'm liking it. It's a very fresh kind of, but a feminine take on a fresh and aquatic fragrance, I can say. This has some floraliness in the mid and has the notes of pink peppercorn, which is kind of adding a very soft spiciness in the background to it. And then all of these things, they sit into the woody warm base from it. Also has the suede notes, so that kind of is not making it smell leathery, rather it's just making it smell a little dense and deep in the base, and just kind of adding a texture to the entire fragrance instead of just making it smell manly or anything such. So it's just adding a bit of texture, and then it sits into a slight warm woody base, which is so interesting. It won't smell like it's blowing your mind at first, but it's really a nice fragrance to be considering if you like your freshies, your aquatics. Then this is definitely something to look into, and I would highly recommend that you go for these smaller packagings first. I'll try my level best to find a link for this one for you because I also do not remember where I bought it from. A very beautiful purchase of this year have been Guess Seductive Red, and I have used this fragrance back to back like crazy these summers, and this is a beautiful all year round kind of fragrance. if I'm including it right now does not mean I'm not going to include it in my winters, because this is a beautiful smoky cherry fragrance which has the almond in it, and it's sweet but yet fluffy. So it has two things going on. It has the cherry, like the juicy sour cherry mixing in with almond, but then it has a smokiness and a fluffy sweetness to it, which is very, very interesting. So if you are a sweet fragrance lover, you are going to definitely enjoy this in the summers as well as in winters. But if you're not a very sweet fragrance lover, this purely will be a winter fragrance for you. But for me personally, this is an all year round fragrance because the sweetness in it is kind of fluffy and airy and cloudy. It's not like dense sweet fragrance. It's quite sweet but kind of fluffy. So that fluffy smoky sweetness that is there in it is very, very interesting and makes it appropriate to be using all year round for somebody like me. If you like fragrances like me, you will not go wrong with this. And it's not also a very, very expensive fragrance. You will find it in the price range of 2200 to 2500 rupees. Also, it's quite long lasting. I always felt that I'm not smelling it on myself. There is something wrong in this fragrance. I've spent so much of money on this, but it's still not lasting on me. But now that I wear this fragrance, I literally smell it till the next day or for next 2 days on my clothes. So yeah, I have to say that it's quite lasting. It won't be like crazy projective. It's not a beast mode kind of fragrance, but it's definitely a long lasting fragrance. It really creates a beautiful bubble around you. So if you're looking for a smoky cherry almondy kind of fragrance, the almond is not taking the forefront. It's just adding a nice smooth creaminess to it. So if that is something you're looking for, do look into this. It's not worth missing out on. A very stunning fragrance that I discovered this year is the Smosh Nude. This beautiful looking packaging right here, guys. It's just not worth missing out on. But not just the packaging, the fragrance inside is also not worth missing out. It's a beautiful soapy fragrance, like a sweet soapy fragrance, which is musky and powdery at the same time. It literally smells like a luxurious bathing bar, and this is something which will not last too long or will not project too much, but if somebody comes up close and hugs you, and if you have it behind your ears or in your hair or just on your body in general, they will smell this soft, subtle, soapy, hygienic fragrance on you, which is also slightly sweet. It kind of reminds me of Lux International Creme, but this is better. This is more luxurious smelling. Just under 400 rupees, I think, or 500 rupees, with this beautiful packaging, guys, and not too much of a fragrance inside, because you can definitely finish up this bottle in one season. Trust me on that, if you use it back to back. Not putting too much emphasis on the longevity, because this fragrance is not worth missing out on. It's a beautiful, hygienic, classy kind of fragrance which no girl should ignore. That is how I feel about this. So yeah, do look into this. Next up is a rollerball and a tea fragrance from Iba Halal, which is iced green tea. Now this fragrance is not a sweet fragrance. I always feel that this is more on the lines of unisex fragrances. It's a nice green tea-like fragrance with a muskiness in the base and some floraliness in the middle. It's refreshing, it's citrusy, it's literally like a cold iced tea, which is not super sweet, but is kind of smelling green from the green tea and is smelling citrusy because some lemon have been squeezed into it. And then it's so refreshing. It's like a must have for the summer times. On those crazy hot days when the sweat keeps on dripping on us, this kind of fragrance is something which will really lift your spirits and make you feel good and better about yourself, and will make you feel that you are refreshed. So yeah, it's definitely worth looking into. It's really, really impressive for a 250 or 300 rupees fragrance, and super travel friendly, guys. You can also slip it into your jeans pocket just like a lip balm. Another Zara fragrance that I would like to bring to your notice again is Deep Garden. Deep Garden is a dupe for Carolina Herrera, the original Good Girl. It's a beautiful blend of sweet, powdery, musky, and florally notes in here. We all know what Carolina Herrera smells like, and I just feel that this again is a fragrance which is an all year round fragrance, and probably the best dupe that I have came across till now, because I have not tried too many for CH Good Girl, but this one is definitely the best that I have came across till now. And I just feel that it's a very all year round fragrance. The sweet fragrance lovers are definitely going to enjoy it, because it's not like super deep or dense or nothing crazy going on. Maybe Carolina Herrera is definitely denser in comparison to this, but in case of this, I feel that the florals are really lifting it and are making it appropriate for an all year round fragrance. So it's definitely worth considering if you're looking for a sexy and sweet kind of a party girl fragrance and a girl who wears dresses and stilettos. Must consider this. Next up is an amazing purchase of this year, and that is, when I say this, I need not say that this is a must buy fragrance for these summers, and I am talking about Yara from Lattafa. This is an amazing fragrance which has the Gaumont Accords in it. It's yummy, guys, but somehow, along with being yummy, I just feel that it has some floraliness and bright muskiness to it, which balances out the Gaumont Accords in it very well. And it's a beautiful vanillic, strawberry, and yes, strawberry milk kind of a fragrance, which is also lifted and very feminine, very beautiful, very unique for these summers, which is not worth missing out on, because I have smelled so many fragrances, but I have not smelled a perfume. Like, I'm not talking about body mists, but perfume which smells so yummy yet so wearable for the summertime. And oh god, ladies, just get this perfume. I need not say more about that. If you want to go in the depth and details of these perfumes, there are individual reviews on each of these, so you can watch that. But for now, what I want to say that is that this is not worth missing out on. Just go and buy it already. Now I have two recommendations from Rehab for summers, and that is Soft and Diamond. These both are sweet fresh fragrances. This is on the softer, lighter side of things. This is more like this a designer kind of super sweet, dense floral fragrance. This one definitely kind of falls in a generic designer category, but is quite impressive. I'm talking about Diamond, so it's quite impressive. But Soft, on the other hand, is like a sweet, citrusy, musky fragrance, which is kind of very, Gaumont like. Again, has similarities with the similar kind of scent profile like that of Yara. So they are not similar. I'm not saying that they are same. I'm just saying that the way that one has the beautiful balance of these Gaumont notes and the fresh notes and the lifting and the florally notes, same is what is going on in here. It's a beautiful, sweet, citrusy, but kind of smooth but floral, musky kind of fragrance. It's super feminine, super affordable, and super long lasting as well, since it is a perfume oil and a rollerball. So if you are on a very low budget for these summers, or you're just a school going girl or college going girl, you must look into Soft and look into Diamond if you want to go a level up or want to smell a little sexy. Like, this is more like smelling good but without any efforts, and Diamond is like, I'm putting in efforts, you need to notice it, notice my fragrance, that kind of fragrance that is there in Diamond. So Diamond is again a very florally, super sweet, musky fragrance, but it's more on the sharper side of things. It's not as smooth and creamy as Soft. So yeah, I leave that to your preference, that which one would you like to go for. And those are my recommendations for summers from Rehab. Just one fragrance that I would suggest you to buy from Perfumes, because I had 4 in it, which is of flow, vibe, and joy. The only one that grabbed my attention was Vibe. Now, Vibe has a very bright, zesty citrusiness, like the lemon, bergamot, lime mixing in with each other and smelling super zesty, super, sharp, citrusy. And that is what I get in here. Let me just spray a little. You guys need to ignore, like literally ignore my nails today. I did not get the time to change my nail paint. Super zesty, oh god. Super fresh and sits into a woodiness. It's really, really nice. And it strongly reminds me of CK Into You for Her, which is a very, very loved fragrance of mine, which was not blowing my mind initially. But now I feel that it's such a beautiful summer fragrance. Since the availability is a little problematic of that one, so I would highly recommend that you look into Eze Perfumes Vibe if you like that kind of zesty fragrances. And this will be like a breath of fresh air, like lifting your spirits, going to the gym, feeling energized, feeling fresh. And even if you're too sweaty, you put this on, you'll feel like that, I am smelling super fresh, like somebody has poured some lemon juice on me and all my body impurities have been washed off. That is how you will feel. So I highly recommend Vibe from Easy or Eze Perfumes. Please, somebody tell me what to call this brand. Please. I have looked at their promos. They never even once announced their own brand. These last two fragrances are very much the fragrances you will see in this video and then in winter's video, because they are all year-round fragrances and signature fragrance-worthy fragrances. The first one is Yes I Am from Casual. Cannot recommend this fragrance enough. It has way too many notes going on. You can definitely check Fragrantica. I will put them on the screen as well. Too much going on in it, but in my opinion, it is not a gourmand fragrance. For me, this is a mix of lactonic notes mixing in with floraliness, but that floraliness has iris in it, which is making it smell like a cosmetic or a lipstick, which is super perfumey. It is sweet, it is powdery, it is so nice. It literally smells like a vintage, either a compact powder or a vintage lipstick that has a perfuminess to it. And I have a separate video on this explaining this in detail, so do check that one out to go in the depth of what this smells like. But for now, I can tell you that this smells like a super glamorous, classy woman from the vintage times. And it does not have the old woman vibes to it or the vintage vibes to it. It is very modern, it is very present time appropriate, and it's a very unique take on current feminine fragrances. That's how I feel about it. And just another fragrance which is like abundantly available right now on every website, so do look into it. I will definitely leave a link down below. And I would like to wrap up this video by mentioning Dolce & Gabbana, the only one, just another fragrance which is all year appropriate because it has a beautiful balance of the creamy coconut along with the white florally notes, and then all those good things sitting into a musky and warm kind of a fragrance. And it has the amber notes and the musky notes. It's beautiful, it's classy. It's not going to be like your sweet creamy fragrance at all. It is more on the lines of unisex. It's the definition of a perfect unisex fragrance for me. It's neither manly nor super feminine, but somehow appropriate for both of them. And it's a rich, classy woman's fragrance, in my opinion, who just wants to smell effortlessly rich. It has this I have money kind of fragrance to it, and absolutely enjoying this these summers, and I am going to enjoy this in the winters as well because it's quite appropriate because of that warmth in the base. It's quite appropriate to be using all year round. And that ends my list for summer perfumes for this season. Do not forget to leave some summer emojis down below. It can be some waves or it can be an umbrella or the sun or whatever you feel like leaving down below, or maybe a fruit or drink, whatever you like. So do leave emojis and tell me that you're here and watching if you don't want to write a comment. Don't forget to give this video a big fat thumbs up down below. Keep looking beautiful, keep smelling good. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Mwah.